Brought to you by bedroombattlefields.com, this is the Tabletop Miniature Hobby Podcast. Exactly 5 years ago to the day that I'm recording this, I published the very first episode of the Tabletop Miniature Hobby Podcast. To celebrate the occasion, I had the idea to invite a few celebrated former guests back onto the show, and before I know it, I'm sitting there like a rather large and conspicuous fly on the wall, listening to Jervis Johnson, Andy Chambers, Alessio Cavatore, and Tuomas Pirinen. There's plenty of room on that wall though, so why not come and join me?
Well, it's Trench Crusade actually is the main thing.
Yeah, our boss is here, so he can tell us what we can talk about.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, new project names are not there, but we just finished it's now been produced, the carcass front, all of that stuff. I mean, when does this come out?
Tomorrow,
okay. So, I mean, yeah, we can talk about almost anything there. It's
they've been running stuff showing the contents and things like that by now. So.
Yeah.
The carcass front's been a really fun project to work on. But I mean, for all of us, it's a little bit in the past now because when you're writing the rules,
wonderful world of publishing.
There's a whole production process that goes on in between. So we've moved on to next projects in the future. And I think that, I mean, as much as anything, I think what I've been really Andy and Tuomas and Brooke, who's the young games designer, and Sammy, she's another one of our games designers, have all been doing the writing, and I've tended to be sort of riding shotgun a little bit and organising meetings and
oversight, checking in,
filling in the gaps, if that makes sense. Kind of like if there's something's not going to get done, then I'll just say, well, okay, I'll do that. Which has been fun. And there are some interesting things coming along, but a lot of it has been about. It's been fun for me because it's reminded me of my old days at Games Workshop. So it's quite anarchic, like things were in the 80s and the 90s, and it's been a real pleasure to be kind of like it's very creator-led, and you're right by the coalface. That makes sense. There's the last days at Workshop, you're very much in an ivory tower when you're working on the creative side, and you're working years in advance of anything coming out, and don't have really much contact with anybody. Whereas this is much more kind of hands-on.
Yeah, the creative crucible.
I like that, and it's much easier to come up with ideas. I think the worldwide campaign that we're doing. I mean, that started out pretty much as an idle conversation, I think.
We should do something like that.
And the rest of us, wouldn't it be cool? And me chit-chatting about, like the ones that, because I created the first one of those, and so the Factory Fortress version's much more like that, much more straightforward. You play games, send us the results, it ties into the story and moves the story along. So figuring all of that out has been great fun, but we've had to do it quick. We're still having to do it quick.
Well, there's still an action on it, actually, but
exactly.
Get it under the wire. So, and that is very reminiscent of the 90s, of like, oh my god, I used to joke that it's like Spider-Man movies. We see Jonah Jameson in the middle of his office, like shouting at everybody at the Daily Bugle. It was kind of like that in the 90s. And he pictures of Spider-Man now and all this sort of thing. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, we've also had what I thought has been really good is because, as Jervis said, we have younger designers that joined in, and on our time it was very typical that a younger designer like me and Gab or Alessio joined the White Dwarf crew or came from other more production-based place, and then they learned the ropes by working with the more senior designers, and the way how you make codexes or army books or box games was very much a apprenticeship and a sort of a skilled artisan kind of the job where you learned on the job as you did it. And we wanted to bring that back a bit, and so we were just on a previous day brainstorming on and getting together a document that we can use as a sort of a blueprint. Of course, this skill has a little bit, I'd say, it's the how we used to do it in the early days, where there was more room for creativity. It's gone away a little bit, and a lot of the new game supplements I see coming from companies, maybe a little bit of that pixie dust. And of course, I'm biased, but we wanted to get our lessons we learned in the past. It's the try to get the open them up so that the people working with us is can see what we want to get into what a good army book, let's call them army books, contains.
I think that passing on that knowledge is definitely something that I'm interested in. I think part of it is that you can go to university. You can definitely learn how to design computer games and board games to an extent, and even role-playing games. There are courses. There aren't any that I know of tabletop miniatures games, and so trying to kind of like start a discussion about the best way of doing this.
I think part of that Jervis, comes out of the fact that miniature games is something that you, unless you're a complete expert in all the realms of like making miniatures and production and writing and rules writing, you can't do them on your own. You can't create it on your own. You do always need to have other people involved in the mixture, to some extent or greater or lesser extent. And that it's a very hard individual skill to teach on that level. Games design, you can be a brilliant games designer off your own lights. No worries, likewise writer or what have you, but that kind of blending them all together to create a product where it's a miniatures game, that's something a bit different, and it is only really learned on the job.
I think that a little while ago, and I did a chat down in Cornwall, basically, to a place that's magnificently called the Fish Factory, which was just as a friend, and they asked if I'd go and talk to the people who go there about what I'd learned designing games at Games Workshop, and I think that I want to develop it up actually and see if I can refine it a bit. But basically, what I ended up writing was much less about like how do you work out the range and how do you write the rules as such, and it's more about the process, the nature of what creates a good game, and the fact that it's a collaborative process, that you're working as part of a team, the way that things iterate. So it's an iterative process too, that you go round and round, kind of like refining things. And the way that requires you to have a very clear vision at the beginning about what it is that you want to achieve, and how those things work, basically. Just that kind of like more about. I guess it's more about being the often the games designer, unless they're working completely, even if when they're working on their own, but also when they're working within a company, tends to take on the role of a project lead, and I think because you get involved very early, and you generally stay right to the end, because I was saying earlier that we've finished with Carcass Front, but actually there are bits that and hit you in the back of the
FAQs,
head. Basically,
it never really ends.
Questions about things, and you need to read the manuscript once it's been laid out to make sure that it's correct. So you tend to start at the beginning and stay to the end. And at Workshop, that meant that you ended up becoming a de facto kind of like project manager that was involved with all of those things. Less so nowadays. It's not run like that now, but it was back in the day. And so talking about how to do that successfully, what it takes, and
because part of that is
I think is more interesting in some ways than the nitty gritty of like, how do I write rules for line of sight?
Yeah, because that's the key to it being collaborative. If you've got a project lead and you're going to want to see your vision through from beginning to end, that means you need to be able to work with people, compromise, take on board other ideas, abandon your own when necessary, all of these things. You can't be totally rigid about it, but you have to be rigid enough to see through that vision, and that's a fine bit of dancing overall.
It is. We were just talking about this yesterday, that what there is a saying in the industry, the paper is cheap and the other parts are expensive. So the one of the designer's skills is that we can bend easier than other departments, because miniature sculpting is slow and hard and expensive, and art is slow and hard and expensive. But there are also times when you need to say, no, I am sorry, but it's these units are red, so you can't paint them blue.
No, do base size. That's the right one for this discussion.
Yes. Every miniature sculptor in the world, whatever base size you give them, wants to do it at least one base size bigger. This is a absolute ultimate universal truth. It doesn't matter what it is. You can give a goblin a titan's base, and the miniature sculptor will still find a way to say that I need a bigger base. So sometimes you have to be the bad guy and say that, nope, sorry, but you can't have a bigger base.
Because it means things in the game. It means things to be on a bigger base.
Yes.
So there's a direct correlation to like, actually, but sometimes not. Sometimes it's like, fine, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But sometimes it'll bump it up and it's like, well, that's a problem now. So finding the right way route through that particular hairy compromise situation, particularly when they come back and the miniature is just too big for the base it's supposed to go on.
They are hoping that you give it.
They'll just give in, to the inevitable.
But especially in a game like because Trench Crusade has a very, very small list of characteristics, and one of them is base size, which I then use shorthand for anything in the rules to do with size. Because we have to list it anyway. I figured out that, right, I have to put a number here, so I might as well make use of it. So stuff like a big guy being able to knock somebody aside, or the Sin Eater eating somebody, the base size acts as a handy number that I can say, right, the Sin Eater can eat somebody on 32 mil base or smaller, but not 40 mil or bigger. And therefore, the base size can't be whatever miniature sculptors want it to be. There's also the interesting thing that obviously quite a few of us have made video games. I made them for many decades. It's the miniature war games are tactile games. So it's also like Andy said, you have to play with them. And in a skirmish game, you have to fit them on a table that's usually very cluttered with terrain, because that's good for gameplay. And the more gigantic bases you have, the harder it is to play the game, because they can't get through gaps. You can't put them in trenches. You can't put them on top of buildings because they are too big. So there is that aspect too to the base size that's important. And hello, Alessio, good to have you with us.
I didn't know if you could see me or not.
Hi, Alessio.
Hello.
Thanks for dropping in. Do you know these guys?
Just dropping in to say hi. I didn't know it was a Trench Crusade.
Yeah. Hello. Do you do Trench Crusade? Can we convert you? You heard about our saviour?
Yes. I think I know some of these faces.
Yes, one of the other projects that I've been working on was Dreadball with Alessio, which is I'm assuming that the printers are getting manufactured or something at the moment. So I know that. I've been cheerfully able to hand on all of the chasing after that to Alessio and the rest of the Mantic team.
Well, I left them to Matt, because now I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but yes, we're doing this Ghost in the Shell campaign. That's where I am at the moment.
Yeah, I watched some of your video, but that you've just released about the game. It looks great.
There's a lot of laughing, yes. There's a lot of laughing, which is great.
No, that was interesting. It was interesting too.
Laughing is a good sign, let's face it.
Oh, there was so much.
Wow.
Really silly. It gets really silly. I mean, we make a team of Section 9 infiltrating super dudes, and one of us decides, I want to be an influencer. You can go, what? Oh, yeah, my character was an ex-J-Star football player, and now he's an influencer. It's like, which part of secret stealth Section 9 government assassination team?
It's the perfect cover. It's the perfect cover. Nobody would suspect.
No, that's Charlie's Angels you're thinking of there. That's their kind of level of cover.
Making the GM having to incorporate an influencer into a stealth infiltration team was really entertaining to watch. Yeah. How are you guys?
Good. Overall, whining about being old. Good. Alessio, that's what we've been doing.
There is.
But it isn't purely true that we've only made Trench Crusade. Like I said, it's my side project, which I would have never taken unless it wasn't these circumstances. And we actually had a panel together with Alessio in Italy a few months back about it. It's a dueling game, because the last game before he left the mortal coil is the John Blanche had this vision for a dueling game on 54mm, which of course is like you'd pitch that to any miniature game company on the planet. You could not. They would move fast and light to avoid having to have anything to do with a game like that, because it's the wrong scale. It's a small number of miniatures. But hey, it's the last game that the John wanted to do, and of course I said yes. And it's also because I wanted to help his family. John obviously was already not healthy anymore. So that's been great fun, and it's been very bittersweet. And of course, there was a great sad moment with John's passing. But I've been doing that as well. So, strange to say, it consumes all my waking hours, and then the on-guard consumes all my sleeping hours. So,
speaking of old personalities that have been reminiscing on recently, I actually fought with Paul Sawyer when I was in Calais, and they were selling these crates of red wine, and the name of the red wine had the label had a hippo, and the name of the wine was Le Fat Bastard.
he would have appreciated it.
He would have laughed.
He would have approved.
Le Fat Bastard.
He probably would have bought some, to be honest, to have around the office.
Yeah, no, I bought a bottle. I couldn't resist. It was quite funny. In memoriam.
Yeah, I mean, but that is true. A lot of the legends is the sort of the genius previous to us is the are no longer with us. It's the reality of life, and I think it's easy to only remember what we look like is the when we were young on the pages of White Dwarf, but time does pass. But in some ways, that's actually motivated me more, because I kind of feel that I feel fine. I have my health. I'm very grateful of it, and it actually allows me to do stuff. So I want to take advantage of it while I still can. So I do give for all our the youngster listeners take care of your health. You will miss your knees when they are gone. It's something that I've seen with a lot of my friends.
Yes, and your eyes for painting. I'm not that I do any painting, but I am told that people miss their eyes when they try to paint.
And your back for leaning over war games tables.
Yes.
And my back.
Yes. Yeah, actually, I can't do competition. I can do one-day tournaments
honestly,
now.
Alessio, you that made me start to realise, because Jervis has the same problem. I have the same problem as well. I suspect Gav does too. And I think we've all just got like long-term repetitive stress injuries to our lower backs. The danger of doing tabletop wargaming too much. So watch out.
Well, I think also, we sit around at a desk typing most of the time. That's the reality of being a games designer. I mean, it might seem like people have probably imagined that we sit around playing games all day and rolling dice and things like that. And that is very far from the reality. It's most of your time you're typing, reading something, somebody else's emails, going to meetings, talk about the thing that's been typed.
We have a routine.
Occasionally you carve out an afternoon where you can actually get to do some playtesting.
Playing games is a treat in this job. Sorry, Alessio, you were saying something.
I was saying it's actually really tiring playtesting, and there's a routine of every time I'm in Mantic at playtesting something, every time Ronnie passes by, he just looks at us and goes, "Playing games all day. You do nothing. You're super tired, super concentrating with so much stuff on." I go,
Sounds like Ronnie.
Yeah, it's an in-joke. It just does it all the time.
Yes.
He knows.
Yes. So that was one of those things. I mean, the early days of workshop, there just time wasn't allocated to play testing at all. You had to do it after work. It was considered basically it was considered to be fun.
We went through a sizable period when we did carve out time together, Jervis, if you remember. We did have a time when we did carve out like at least a game or two a week.
We did. No. But I think that's once we started to actually have a playtest table in the studio, That was the thing. I mean, the early days, it was things like that, weren't there? So when I designed Blood Bowl, I can remember playing at home on my floor. Stuff. And actually, talking about that, I can remember going round to Rick and John Stallard's house to play 40k on the floor. And then it just, there literally wasn't a games table in the Games Workshop design studio when I was there for quite a few years. And then when we finally got one, that was a big deal. Getting that games table, that room with our games
corridor, I remember.
As I remember, and Andy were working together a lot then. So there was this room on the floor that we were in, the very old studio before Castle Boulevard and Low Pavement was his rabbit warren at the place on about 3 different levels with loads of weird little tiny rooms. And I think we ended up with one that was right at the back.
It was right at the end of the corridor because it was one of the biggest rooms. And there was a table tennis table that was put in there in the end.
And we could secrete ourselves away in there, and nobody really know what we were up to. So we got to play test games and do the first battle reports in there as well. The very first battle reports were on those tables.
In Mighty Empire.
But it was a luxury. Actually having a table at work and being able to kind of like spend an afternoon actually playing some games.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think Adeptus Titanicus I played at work.
I remember testing stuff with Hal like on his office floor for Battlefleet Gothic. Space Hulk.
So I remember playing Space Hulk on the floor.
But it is one thing that I do miss. I mean, of course, I'm super happy to be able to offer the everybody at the Factory Fortress to work remote and the organize their lives so it is comfortable for them. But there is a trade-off there. Like whenever we do get to meet in person, there are definitely plus sides on the communication wise, and obviously like camaraderie, the socializing, and also the kind of stuff that you don't get, like the knowledge in the old design studio. Usually everybody heard about everything that's being made for a lunch discussions or the having tea or whatever. And you knew what was going on, and people would go if somebody was finishing a real cool sculpt or piece of art. You usually got people to come and see. You lose this when you are working fully remote, and there are definitely there is a price to pay there. Even for, as I said, I'm super happy that we are not in a culture where somebody cracks whip and everybody has to go to a building every day, regardless of it's sensible or not. But sometimes being able to go to building and see each other is great, because we've been able to, for other work reasons, we've had a chance in Nottingham to get together and do work. And there are definitely plus sides to that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you say, it was a mixed bag. Because back in the day when we were all stuffed in a building together, you would hear about things, literally see things on people's desks and stuff like that, and go like, "Oh, what's that?" And everybody was better informed by I've noticed there tends to be a thing where you work remote and you kind of assume everybody knows what you know, because you're in communication with everybody, you're talking all the time, but they don't actually know everything that you know, not by a long shot. You only know if you actively tell them that, and they probably forget. So, it is quite different on that level. You're right.
Yeah, as you guys know, I was work for different companies, and I always try to go at least like a day a week in their offices to do work, because just like you say, it works both ways. I get to talk to the people that I need to talk to in person, which is obviously better than on any. So you go grab people, you have meetings with people, and to be honest, it's also good from the customer's point of view, because they see you. They see you're there, and automatically the brain goes, "Oh, this guy is working for us." We know what's he doing.
You're thinking about Warlords specifically because they've got a nice shop that you can traipse through on the way in and all this sort of stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. Mostly Warlords in my case, but because the other customers tend to be in different countries, so it becomes a bit difficult to go there. But being that they're in Nottingham, I thought I'd just spend a day here and a day there, hot desking.
And I think, when I was working on Dreadball, I quite often spent like a morning or an afternoon in the Mantic offices. It was definitely helpful. The meetings that we've managed to have together in Nottingham proved to be very fruitful. Really, it's just it's different. You get to meet people and spend time with them just having a drink as well, like kind of around that. It's very different to being in a meeting like this with people, when they're not actually in the room with you.
Yeah, and digital communication, you need to be careful because it's very easy to pick wrong words. And of course, we have different cultures. We have people from all over the world. It's the working on on games. You can easily come across as, and French are really good at this. It's the confrontative, and it's if you think about it's very easy to read every Slack message or email as somebody shouting at you, and that's a very different than if you're meeting face to face.
As read out by Gilbert Gottfried, I think was the real key to it.
Yeah, it's the so much of the communication is non-verbal. It's the people can say quite it's why when you joke with your friends, you can say quite rude things, but if you do that online, you're gonna upset people. So there is also a lot of nuance. You miss when all the communication is digital, and you could have somebody who agrees whatever you are saying 100%, but they don't see any point of agreeing. So you get silence, and you think, what's wrong? But in real world, if Alessio, you said that let's go out for a lunch, and I was like, nodding, you would go, okay, we're going out to lunch with Tuomas. But if you do that online and I ignore you, you go, what's wrong? Are we fighting? So you have to think so much more, and it's not perfect. It isn't.
Right. I mean, there's obviously different languages, like, both for me and you, English is not our first language. So obviously there's all the nuances coming from different languages, but also I've seen a fantastic American English to British English translation device. It's like the British person going, I'm not sure this is very good. The American goes, that means it's shit.
Yeah, no, it goes on. I've seen this. It's the one that also goes like, the British response of being like, you're very brave. Which
I think you're a moron.
I think you're a moron. It's like, I think I'm very brave. I get to play these games all the time because my wife's American. So we've had 23 years now of this, basically. My God, those are fighting words. What? No, they're not.
Yeah, but there are other interesting things that digital has brought out. For example, it's the French Crusade has all its rules available free online, which of course in the past, there was no free online. And even for a long time in internet, it's the downloading entire book. It would take a week.
Yeah.
Now it's a couple of seconds. So it has opened some new venues for you to bring your games to more customers, and the new ways to also, like the digital files that you print yourself. So there is also things that I consider are very good about the digital revolution. But I think fundamentally, the human beings, we are social animals, and we are physical creatures. So there are definitely downsides to if you're not vigilant about it. There are downsides.
Undoubtedly, though, in terms of the hobby, in terms of gaming in general, tabletop wargaming in particular, it's been a massive, massive boon for us. If you look back to before there was digital communication around to now, it's made possible so many more different games, genres. We were just talking about the diversity of gaming now, Alessio, before you came on. There's just like dozens upon dozens of new games being made like every year, which wouldn't have seen the light of day back in the day.
Yeah. I think also it's the communication, isn't it, that didn't really exist. I mean, Andy and I can remember mailing lists starting up. Getting the internet. We didn't when we started. We didn't really have the internet at work, and then it came along, and then you started to get these weird forums and mailing lists, which kind of like early versions of Discord, I guess, is the way that you'd say nowadays. With people talking about the games and stuff, and then we started to tap into that. We joined the 40k mailing list. That's the main one I remember. That we joined as we were called the Primarchs. We had special tags on our names, and then there was a chap there who collected all the rules questions for us. Do you remember that? There was one person who would read all of the posts.
God bless him.
And put all of the rules questions together, and we'd answer them. and things. But it was a revelation, really. And then, I mean, later on when I ran Fnatic, a lot of the development work, I mean, basically the team was very, very small and very lean at Fnatic, and we had quite a lot of things to do. So I relied on the internet and building up a community of kind of like people to help out. So the Blood Bowl Rules Committee, the NAF, grew out of that. That's still around today. And Epic Armageddon was pretty much developed online. I got a small group of people. I did the rules. They could download them and play test them. I set up a forum that was just for them.
Yeah, you were very bleeding edge, really, with Fnatic compared to the rest of Games Workshop, in point of fact. Because Games Workshop spent a lot of time trying to pretend the internet did not exist.
Oh yeah, that was the one time when I got into a serious trouble with GW management. I will not mention the name of the director, but I was summoned into office and I was given a long lecture. Games Workshop will never, ever, 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 ever do any business through internet because it's and I shouldn't talk about it anymore. And it's that we talk to people on the phones and the internet is not what we do, so it has nothing to do with Games Workshop. So, and I mean, obviously, as a junior games designer, you just go, yes, sir. I didn't obviously believe that, but I'm not an idiot.
Screw you, old man.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I got a last laugh now, so when I meet him next time, I'm going to yet again remind him.
You should laugh long and hard over that one.
On the other end, it was a lot more peaceful, right? Without all the noise of the community.
I used to complain, though, because I had to answer the letters. Fool that I was at the time. I thought it was onerous because I had to do the 40k questions that came through snail mail.
Yeah. And we had to post a reply back.
We did. I got stamps made up with yes and no written on them.
I mean, that people, I used to, when I wrote Standard Bearer and White Dwarf later on, I didn't put an email address or anything like that. I put a snail mail address and said, you can write to me. If there's anything that's interesting, please feel free to write to me. And I did that on purpose because I knew that it basically, the person who was going to write to me felt strongly. Yeah, they were going to have to feel strongly about whatever it was that they were going to do in order to kind of like, quite a few of them would have maybe never sent a letter in their life. And so I'd end up with a pile of these on my desk and then I'd send replies to all of them. And I bump into people occasionally. So, I wrote you a letter and you wrote.
I know, and this is the thing as well. It stayed with them for life that they got an answer. I'm friends with people that I respect. Hello, I'm the president of the Alaskan War Games Club. I have some questions about 40k. We're still friends now.
But it also has to be said that to put it on the plus bracket, it's like your work in Fnatic, Jervis, and the existence of online. For example, the what I still find every day staggering, the continuous love and support and incredibly active gaming community of Mordheim. Without online, I don't think the game wouldn't have lived and flourished the way it does. So it does have a role, and once you have a community, they will take care of the artifacts and they will scan the prints. So a lot of the knowledge gets preserved. Because one of the big problems is that a lot of stuff that we would love to study, it's where you get it, of course. It's been lost to the ravages of time. They keep looking for those couple of letters from Tolkien that they know he sent, and they really want to read because it's obviously a major academic study field nowadays. But where are they? Who knows? And of course, the historians want to get them and digitalize them. So that I think has been on the plus bracket on the changes that have taken place.
I have to say, actually, as a designer as well, it's really pretty sweet to have a game still remembered fondly that people still talk about and preserve in the way that Thomas is talking about, so that other people will come along and you see them. There's on a few little Facebook groups and things like that where they put the old games.
Sorry, I'm going to have to pop off in a minute, but just before we go, just along that line about finding stuff that's not been preserved on the internet, I was very pleased because recently I managed to get this on eBay. I tracked down from 1964. It's a game I've been searching for a really long time. It's
Codger
an old Avalon Hill game. It's meant to be really. I was reading the rules. It looks really interesting.
We should do a Codger day with that.
Definitely. It's only 2 players, but you and I can have a go. I think you'd like it actually, Alessio. It looks really interesting.
Yeah, no, I have to go as well. I just wanted to finish with a little anecdote about letters. And maybe Andy's guilty here, or Jervis, or both of you. I don't know. So picture this. It's the 1980s. I'm playing with my Skaven in Italy against a dwarf player, and it's really nasty. This guy's hard fighting. And then he fires his organ gun at my Skaven, and I go, oh, it works like this, right? It hits the flanks, so is it ranks, cannonball things, blah, blah. And he obviously thinks it works completely differently from the way I think it works. And we have like, and it was like, and I get all kind of cool and go, yes. I know how it works because I've written to the rules boys. And here's is their reply. So I take out this piece of paper with the question that answer the questions the way I want it to answer. Like, see, it works like this. My opponent looks at me and goes, ramages in his bag, brings out another letter from the rules boys that answers it completely the other way. So he's like,
the rules.
Shall we roll the dice? That was great.
Secret. The rules boys were just mail order guys who were just making up the answers, guys, in case you hadn't figured that out by now.
Sounds like that.
But it's also, you highlight a good point that is often it's the people contact us, and we like to help people, but we kind of nowadays, you realize you have to be a bit careful. You answer somebody online a rules question as if you were playing with somebody, because we play all the time, and we are game designers. We change the rules on the go because we're not going to try different things. But then your answer will be screenshotted and shared and used to beat people on the head. And you might have changed your mind about the rule. It's so this has also changed. So now you have to be like the Tolkien's elves and say neither yes or no.
Well, what do you think?
Right. I need to go, guys. Thank you for having me.
See you, Alessio.
Thanks, Alessio. Thank you.
Really awesome.
Okay, I'm going to dive out too. But great to see you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks, Jervis. Andy, Thomas, I'll let you guys go too. I don't need to keep you any longer.
Okay, you got an hour's worth of wrapping it on.
I really appreciate it, and thanks for coming along. And
no worries. Well done. You are a pillar of the community yourself for keeping it going for 5 years. Go on, sorry, Thomas.
I am going to be shameless and say 2 things. Is the first of all, since this comes out tomorrow, keep a really, really close eye on the Trench Crusade website, because possibly our most important and most awaited announcement is coming tomorrow. And if John's work and life and his art touched you, hey, check out the On Guard. It's we made some really cool hand sculpted miniatures for it. I've done my best to come up with the best possible dueling set of rules as I can, and you can do a good deed if you support it.
Great stuff. Yeah, I'll put a link to that in the show notes for sure. Andy, anything you want to shout out before you head off?
I'd like to thank Thomas for actually bringing me on board Factory Fortress. As Jervis touched on when we were talking, it has been a real pleasure to get back in the Crucible again with a bunch of other people and working so collaboratively. So it's been really good fun so far. I'm not going anywhere, I might hasten to add. I'm just saying, cheers, man. This has been great.
Yeah, it's I believe which is remarkably rare in this industry, that my people are at their most productive and they do their best creative work. It's when they feel that they are happy, they feel that they are part of like-minded people, they can be themselves. Their skills can be applied and they can be listened to. By no means you can manage this every time. There are realities that we talked about, the printing realities and the sculpting and whatnot, but what I do believe is that you shouldn't try to make work suck. Which is for some reason a lot of people who run companies seem to believe that that's your job. And I think if you do the opposite, I tend to get much, much more better morale, better the atmosphere, and most importantly, better product out of it. So if you're budding a game company boss. That's my advice to you.
Yeah, and if you're a freelancer like me, my advice to you is who you're working with makes a lot more difference than what you're doing.
I agree 100%. 100%. I was some of my happiest times on the video games when I was making racing games. I'm not a racing game guy, but my team, my bosses, my peers were awesome people, and it made the work pleasure, even if it wasn't. This is a mistake a lot of games people do. They go to work on a game they love, but if the team is toxic, you're not going to love it. Take it from us. We've tried.
Yeah. They'll just ruin the thing you love for you guys. So pick your partners carefully.
Massive thanks to Andy, Tuomas, Alessio and Jervis for a fantastic conversation and for giving up some of their valuable time for this humble podcast. And if this is your first episode, then there's individual conversations with the guys in the back catalogue too. We've got about 180 published episodes and pretty much all of them are evergreen. So next time you crack open the paints, why not let the Tabletop Miniature Hobby Podcast accompany you? Hit subscribe or follow in your podcast app of choice too, and you'll get all the new episodes delivered to you automatically. On a final note, whether you are a first-time listener or have been with me from the beginning, I just want to say a huge thank you for being part of the journey. We also have a Discord community of like-minded hobbyists over at bedroombattlefields.com/Discord, and it'd be lovely to chat to you in there if we're not doing so already. Alright, thanks again for listening to this audio edition of a 90s White Dwarf magazine, and we'll chat again next time.